There's a guest of honor.
Yeah.
Who is that guy?
Point that thing at me, might go off, man. I called Barry, I said, bring the camera. He said, I don't know if I want to bring the camera.
I wasn't going to, but now that you told me to.
Make sure you get his feet.
His feet? Oh, yeah, that's right. Tom
Yeah.
said he forgot to put his other shoe on.
Uh-oh.
Veteran out of Palm Beach. And
Be careful.
this guy here is out of Dallas, and he's he usually plays a little draw. He's a big dent in here.
Okay. Just don't hit that red button.
Oh.
Hey, hi Tom. This is Tony Woods and Mia. And I realized that you are responsible for my marriage and my child's life. Because I realized if you hadn't hired Mark, he may have never been able to follow me to Florida, and our relationship may have gone by the wayside. We would have gone our separate ways, and we never would have gotten married, and we never would have had her. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And I also want to tell you, I don't know what Mark tells you, but he thinks the world of you. You're his mentor. He just thinks you're the greatest. Thanks for everything.
We want to thank everybody for coming. We know a lot of you came from a great distance away, and we know a lot of you helped with regards to putting this all together. And so we want to thank people like Bill Sargent and Barbara Kaywood and Eric Garwood and Mike. We want to thank you too for helping us get this all together. And again, I think the sheer number of people here is testimony enough. And you know, Tom's had a long career in journalism, but I think he'll agree that his years in Florida today were probably the highlight of his career. And for those of us who worked with Tom, I think a lot of us would also say the same thing, that was the highlight of our career as well. And Tom came here.
You'll lie all afternoon.
Frank said he would say a few words if he didn't drink too much, so we purposely didn't have any beer. So you came here in 1985?
I think so.
Do you remember who the first person to quit on you was?
Some Greek guy.
Tom came here in 1985, and I only got to work with him for a couple of weeks, and then I left, and I recommended that he hire a little-known prep writer from Gainesville, Florida, Mike Bianchi.
Oh,
who took my place. So that was kind of a nice exchange for Tom.
Just adding insult to injury there, right, Pete?
So anyway, I got to come back and work for Tom in 1989. So anyway, Tom was here from 85 to 97, right?
End of 97.
End of 97. And he was the assistant managing editor and the sports editor, and you might say that he managed the sports department. But for those of us who worked in sports when Tom was here, we don't really think that Tom managed a department. Tom managed people. And Tom, being the people person that he is, one of the things I think that Bill and Barbara would agree with is in organizing all of this, it was not really surprising, but it was very touching for us to have corresponded with so many of you via email and other methods. And so many of you related stories about Tom, not just about how Tom helped you professionally and how Tom helped you in your job and how he helped you get better, but how Tom helped you personally. And so many of you have related stories about how Tom was there for you when you had a personal crisis in your life, and how he was there at the hospital when you needed somebody there, or if you were going through something. That was Tom. Tom was a people person, so he never really managed a department. Tom managed people, and that really is the secret to his success. And if you can measure success by the friends that you have, we can see how successful Tom has been. And we know, too, that Florida today Florida Today in the Gannett world is a paper where a lot of people come through. And a lot of people use Florida Today as their stepping stone and come here for a short period of time and then go to bigger and better places. Well, we can understand bigger, but a lot of us don't really understand how any place could be better. But a lot of people come through Florida Today and it's their stepping stone. And when Tom came here in 1985, it was supposed to be his stepping stone to go back to Nashville and go on to bigger and better things. He wound up staying 12 years. But, you know, so many people, I shouldn't say so many, but people come to Florida Today and when they use it as their stepping stone, sometimes what they're stepping on is people. And it's unfortunate that that happens sometimes. And even when Tom was here, of course, you know, it was going to be his stepping stone, but that was never Tom's M.O. Tom always helped people get better in their jobs, help people become better editors, better writers, better people. And he helped people be successful in every facet of life. And in helping people be successful, everything else sort of takes care of itself. And that's why we had such great staffs, we did such great work, we won so many awards, and so many of you are back here now because Tom means so much to you in so many different ways. And in fact, we had talked about doing this even before, just a few months ago. Evan Grant had mentioned doing something like this about a year ago, that he'd like to get a reunion together, and so this sort of accelerated it. But that's how we always felt. Let's get a reunion together because of the good times and the good memories that we've had with Tom. So I think I speak for all of us that worked for Tom, that we want to say that we thank you for being our boss. And I think most of us who've ever worked for you will always say that you're the best boss that we've ever worked for and probably will ever work for. And for those of us who worked with Tom, because I know a lot of you didn't work necessarily for Tom, but you worked with Tom, I think I speak for everybody when I say thank you for being our friend. And you've meant a lot to us, and we just wanted to show you how much you've meant. I think today's weather is sort of metaphorical for us because we've had some rain, we've had some sunshine. And there's an old saying that prosperity makes friends, but trials really tries your friendship. So we want you to know, Tom, rain or shine, we're always going to be there for you. And you look around and everybody here cares about you. We all love you. And so these are your friends, and we're always going to be with you and Brenda no matter what. So we want to do a couple of things. We want to invite everybody up that ever worked for Tom. We're going to give a couple things for him. So all of us who worked for Tom, we're a special group, we're a special guy, so if you all want to come up, I know Brenda would like to get a picture together, but we're going to give Tom a couple things.
Well, Tom, you remember when I was 15 years old, and I was a correspondent. And I was attending school at Rice Creek Comprehensive High School, and you want me to cover a game, a high school game with Jolton and East High School. And the game was played in Jolton. I got to Jolton, and I got there, it was in the booties, in the woods. And I showed up, and the only people I saw was like a one-way in. I saw some pickup trucks, and the only thing I saw was white people. And I got scared. And I left. And I went to the manager, and I said, will you call this game in for me? And they did. And I was so scared, and what happened, that game didn't get reported in, and there was a couple of state records were broken that night, and they didn't make the newspaper, and you got on to me. Well, I had never said this, but I did told you, but I'm sorry, but I just was scared. You know, life was more important. But I would cover that game today. I got a little more nerves now. Yeah. Take care. I'll see you later. All right, peace.
But one of the things we all wanted to give you, Tom, is a baseball bat. Not over the head. And not over the head, as somebody just mentioned. I'd like to do that bat. But we seem to have some connections in Louisville, as they say up in Louisville. It's where they make Louisville sluggers. Nice little town. Nice little town. And this bat is a genuine Louisville slugger, as they say in the South, genuine Louisville slugger. And on it says Tom Squires world's best boss.
Hello, Mr. Squires. This is Dave Bowbury and my wife Veronica. I just want to say thank you for all my golf lessons that you gave me, and you really improved my golf game, and we had a lot of good times together, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you again in the future down here in Florida. And like I said, thank you for everything. You made me a better worker, and I've always appreciated what you've done to your sports department and all the people that I got to meet in there. And you made me a better man and a better person working at the newspaper. Veronica, you have anything to say?
Just we love you, and if there's anything we can ever do for you, let us know. And that's it.
The other thing we wanted to do, and as you all know, we did just informally pass the hat a little bit because we know that Tom's kind of tight when it comes to vacations. We know that unless he can drive somewhere, it's not really a place he wants to go. But we'd like for Tom and Brenda especially to have a nice vacation together. So this is kind of Brenda's gift. So that you can take her on a nice vacation. We kind of understand that Scotland would be a place that she'd like to go, and maybe you might even be able to play some golf. So, towards that end,
Scotland, Georgia.
Yeah. Towards that end, we want you to take that gift and treat Brenda right and take her on a nice vacation to Scotland, and maybe you can open that up and share with Tom. And when you do, we'll sort of share with everybody else. Just so everybody knows, we thank you for the donations, and we've been able to give Tom and Brenda a little cashier's check for $2,500.
Whoa! Good job, Caddy.
So that they can take a nice vacation together, and so we give that to you, Brenda, so that we know it's going to be in the proper hands at this point. As we mentioned, a lot of you have shared personal thoughts and expressions about Tom, and so we don't want to just hog it. Basically, we want to invite a couple people up. I know Mike Holden wanted to say a few things, and Frank Vega was going to say a few things. So,
I've been drinking.
So we'll invite Mike up, and we'll sort of make it a little informal now. And
wow, Vega said he's going to talk for 15 minutes, so I only had 5 minutes on the program. And I'm not going to talk about anything serious because you've already done that very eloquently. But when I came here 12 years ago to clean up the mess that was left,
What do we vote on that, guys?
the first guy in my office every Friday afternoon was the guy that improved my handicap from 24 to 10. And I played more golf with Tom Squires than all of you collectively. He did more to improve my game than anybody I know. Every Friday afternoon, I got a tee time, 7:30, Indian River, Sun Tree, Bay Tree, Vieira, whatever. We have a very special relationship, which we're not going to share with any of you. Brenda. But he's a one of a kind. He really is. A very, very special guy. Nobody has a kinder, gentler heart than this man. So we've got a great sports department now. We got a great sports department when he was there, but I do miss him, and he knows that. So best of luck to you. And you,
Hi, Tom, Sylvia. Yeah, pre-press, production, photos, all that stuff. I can't remember anything specific. That anytime we had a discussion, all I remember is your smiling face and your good disposition. And even if it was something you weren't happy about, you would just get it across and we'd get it done. And I got Dave Bowbury in here now. You know, me and him down here in Florida, and we just take care of stuff and make sure things are going along. But whenever I think of Tom Squires, a smile comes on my face, and I wish you the best. And I know behind every good man is a great woman. So Brenda, power to you, baby. Love you both. Mean it. See ya. Bye. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Okay, my slurry words, please. You know, I don't even know where to start and where to finish with this. Most of you don't know this, but Tom and I actually have been working together since 1982 at USA Today. We were looking for some people to do the sports pages for USA Today, and Tom got recruited. And we met very, very early on at USA Today. And then I was sent down here, recruited by Mr. Newhart, as many of you know, to run Florida, the old Today newspaper. How many of you missed the old logo? I do. Anyway, when we were going to convert the paper to Florida Today, they wanted me to bring somebody in that could really do a great job on sports and do the kind of local sports that we needed to sell some papers. And Tom came down and, where's Wojo? You were the first one to leave. You got pissed off. Remember that. It's coming back to me too, Tom. We had guys that said, we're not doing local sports. But Tom and I have been together, God, I guess over 20 years. And Coleman, I will take exception wherever you are. Tom and I played more golf than anybody. Tom would always call me on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock to make sure I was awake and sober. And I would fly over to Suntree, and we played with several editors, several circulation directors, but the only thing that was constant was Tom and I every Saturday and Sunday morning first off. And we've had a very good friendship. I'm a better golf picker than he is in fantasy golf, which we do together emailing now. But we've had a good time together. And Tom has meant a lot to me over the years, and I hope it's been a reciprocal thing. So, Brenda and Tom, I'm going to Scotland with you. I'll be damned if you're going to Scotland before I do. And I've never been to Scotland, so I'm going with you. Anyway, have a good time tonight. And I've been so nice that we have had Tom, we've hung with Tom the last couple of days. And I'm sure we'll be up telling a lot of stories tonight. Tom and Brenda.
And I couldn't find one big enough because there's so many people that contributed, that couldn't be here. But so we decided that it would be too hard to get everybody to sign it. So I said I got to get a big enough card to write everybody's name on. I think I found one. But I want y'all to look at this. It's very good. You ready? You got to do this, you know. You got to follow the instructions. Okay. Whoa!
I was getting tired.
Anyway, and there were some people who couldn't be here but wanted to be remembered, so they sent cards and letters and whatever. So, you know, he said keep those cards and letters coming.
Tom, Brenda, it's been a wonderful nearly 20 years now. I so enjoyed working with you, Tom. All our talks in your office, you were my soulmate for so many years. And I thank you for that because you got me through some really rough times. And I just think the world of both of you. You were just there for everybody, me included. So thank you very much. Have a great time on your vacation, and I look forward to seeing you at the next reunion real soon. Thanks.
Evan, we couldn't let this afternoon go by without Evan.
Well, the weather today reminds me of the one time I might have questioned Tom's management direction. I was ensconced in my lovely bureau in Miami, and there was a hurricane headed for South Florida, and Tom said, well, come on up to Melbourne and get out of the way of the hurricane. Come on up here, you can stay with me and Brenda, everything will be fine. Well, I started to get in the car, and it looked like the weather was moving a little bit north, so I called the Squires, and I said, I think this hurricane's changing directions. He said, just come on up here, don't worry about it. By the time I got here, he had me in a hurricane shelter doing some quotes for Hurricane Aaron, and I spent the rest of the night hugging the living room for dear life. So, no, the hurricane was actually louder. But that story kind of sums up what Tom and Brenda did for so many people when I was here, and I think when a lot of people were here. They didn't open up just their arms, they opened up their house and made everybody in the department feel like family and friends. And Pete, for once in your life, you actually were profound today. I'm so proud.
Look at the subject I had.
Exactly. But, I mean, Tom doesn't manage X's and O's. He manages people, he manages personalities. He knew how to get the most out of every one of us, and I think there's a pretty strong cast of characters up here who have done pretty well in the journalism field, and I think every one of us would say that the bulk of the credit goes to Tom Squires, and we appreciate it very much.
Hey Tom, how are you? This is Hilla Grossman and my good pal Joe Reyes. You remember us from day one when we started. We actually invented Agate, I believe that was, and that was a harrowing night when we started doing box scores. If you remember that night, it was a freaking disaster.
Friday night, high school Friday night.
A typical high school Friday night. You want us to do Agate with the new system, the new Harris system? You gotta be kidding me. Every box had to be coded up, every name had to be coded up with a flush left. That was unbelievable. Anyway, I wanted to tell you Kevin Draddy could not be here, but I'm sure he says hi.
From jail.
He might be in jail, yeah, you're right. So Tom, I miss you a lot, and good luck in the rest of your life. Hope you come back, and hope we see you good, healthy next year. Joe Reyes, take it away.
From all the people up at USA Today who couldn't be here, again, wanted to say thanks for the memories, thanks for helping us move on to other things. Sometimes better things, sometimes not. But the key person who tied us all together was you. We'll never forget that, and we hope you never forget us.
Way to go, Tom. I'm going country.
Here's a guy who replaced me in Florida today, Mike Young.
Well, is Vegas still there? Yeah, refill it. You probably want to bust another union or something.
Nice knowing you, Mike. Part of that.
You don't want to know.
Anyway, when I worked in Florida today, it was when it was just starting up, and the Sentinel was coming in here trying to circulate over here because they thought, you know, this new product, nobody was going to buy it. And Tom always said, we got to beat the Sentinel. We're better than the Sentinel. And you know, we worked our butt off to try to beat the Sentinel. I covered the Gators back then. You know, I was beating the hell out of Tim Povtak, who was covering the Gators for the Sentinel. And Tom, I just want to say, you always told us that we were better than the Sentinel. Well, I'm at the Sentinel now, and we were.
Hey Tom, it's Becky, and want you to know, care about you a lot, think about you all the time, and had a lot of good times working with you, and have considered you to be one of my bosses, and you treat them guys right, especially the guy holding the camera, and just want you to know, care about you, and pretty much been like a mentor to me too. And I want you to take care of yourself, take care of that lovely bride, and it's been real nice, and you're a great guy, and I love you, okay? Thanks.
All right.
Where's Wojo? We're here from Wojo.
Where's Woj?
Whoa.
He's practicing for his radio show.
Thanks, Al. I'll say something.
Mark.
I was going through my files. I have a file with some odds and ends in it. I found something the other day, so I made a copy of it. I'm going to give you my rejection letter from Tom. But it's a 2-page rejection letter. tells me all about Florida Today, why it'd be a great place, great opportunity. Says we don't have any writing jobs open, but we do have a desk job. If you have any interest, give me a call. Ended up calling Tom, we talked for a while, and he basically pitched a job that was half desk, half writing, and said there'll be opportunities here. If you work hard, there'll be opportunities, and I think it'd be good for you. He sold me on it, and it was very true, and I think that was true for all of us, and that's why it was such a good department to work in. There were opportunities, and I ran across that and I thought that this is perfect, that it's the rejection letter. And then at the bottom of it I have scribbled down, here's my flights, and handwritten, here's where the flights I'm coming down for the interview and what dates. And so you obviously convinced me to come down and interview for the desk job. So I appreciate those opportunities.
But the real key was, I let him bring his girlfriend with him. She's here today.
That time I was a dipper.
You could have fooled me.
Tom, I just wanted to tell you how touching it is to see how many people think so much of you and how you've helped them so much in their lives, and the appreciation they have for you. It's so heartfelt, and I'm so glad I came to be able to witness it. Good luck, and I hope I see you again. Bye.
My name is Jerry Ingram. I met the Honorable Tom Squires when I was 15 years old working in Nashville. And you all know that he liked to play golf. I didn't know what golf was. As today, I still don't. Thanks to him. Well, we went to the golf course, a cave golf course, with him and a couple of his buddies, Coach Bargatze, and the director of Metro Parks and Recreation, Mr. James White. It was like a 7:30 tee time. I think they would call it tee time. And we got there and we had the cart and everything. And I said, oh wow, this is cool. I said, can I drive? And they said, sure. All of a sudden I took off in the golf cart. The golf club was putting or something, I believe. And I stayed going for about 30, 35 minutes. And I showed back up and I got yelled at the screen and everything else because they did not have this proper attire in place. And he told me that I should never attend the golf course because I don't have the etiquette. And as of today, I still have not been on the golf
Tom, I'm out of funny lines to say because I only have a few of them and I save them for my copy when Barry doesn't edit them out anyway. But I just wanted to tell you that this has been a great experience for everybody who came to see you. I hope you had a great time. I look forward to doing it again. I look forward to coming to Nashville and letting you work with my golf swing and maybe increasing my handicap from a 30 to a 36. The best boss I've ever had, and treasure my 4 years at Florida Today, and treasure all the memories of working with you.
What's a good Squires?
How you got your job?
How you got your job in Detroit?
That's the best one.
I mean, that's what I think about. When I came here, I replaced Bob. You know, how's that for being sandwiched in? You know, Mike replaces me, then I come back and replace Wojo.
Right. Well, I mean, Pete hit a lot of things, but the thing that I would really like to hammer home is, you know, in this business, we're often disappointed sometimes by the people that lead us because everybody has different agendas. You know, you got to make a bigger profit and push their agenda or put their fingerprint on a sports section or any kind of a section. And I've been in the business a couple of decades, whatever. And Tom is easily the most selfless editor I've ever had. And Pete, I remember when he first came in, I thought, how am I going to like this guy? They're talking about making, they don't want 45-inch columns, they want things smaller, they want things shorter. And I didn't think there was any way that I could get to like this guy because of the agenda, but it wasn't about the newspaper, as Pete said, it was about the people. And I had a great time in Florida Today from 1983 to 1989. And I would have stayed there probably the rest of my life. I had family down here. And Tom, and he didn't have to do this, and he didn't need to do this, and But he came to me one day, and I remember he just said, because I went to the University of Michigan, and I'm from the Detroit area. He said, how'd you like to go back to your dream job at the Detroit News, the Gannett newspaper? And of course, to be honest, I didn't even know there was an opening. I had no idea. I hadn't even pursued it. I was going to be fat and lazy and lay around and let my career pass and not investigate any newspaper up north. And he pushed me and got me the job, and away I went and stayed in touch over the years. And with no disrespect to anybody I know at the Detroit News, I've never had a better editor since then. So please don't take this and send it up to Detroit. Because I don't think I've ever had an editor again that cared as much about the people I think Tom understood if you like the people, if the people like you, then they'll work harder for you. They'll produce a better section for you, and it doesn't have to be about the editor. So Tom understood that better than anybody I've ever known, and that's why I'm here, and I think that's why most of us are here. Thanks, Tom.
Hi, Tom. It's been a long time. This is my girlfriend, Wendy. Hi, Tom. I know you don't know her, but you should get to know her because she's wonderful. We miss you. Wish you were still here. We wish the best for you and Brenda and Chandler and all those that know you. And hope to see you again soon.
Correction.
Oh, no.
It was Shelby Struthers that left because he didn't want to do local news, not local.
That's exactly right.
It came to me. It came to me.
I'm officially the last person Tom hired now. I don't know if that's a good reflection. Tom left, Tennessee boy left, and he hired another Tennessee boy. So part of him maybe still here. Barry Vigoda told me when I was struggling, whether to come here or not. I didn't want to leave home. He said, you got to come work for this guy, that he's incredible. And that's the truth. Nothing but good things to say about him. So I enjoyed my time a lot. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Shabur? I listened to everybody, and here's the only guy that told the truth about Tom. Let me tell you my story about Tom. Everybody said he's a nice guy, and he's caring, and he loves people. I moved here in 1986, and I was moving into my home. Tom rode over with Brenda on their bikes to meet me. My son, who was 3 years old, was on the roof of the house. The other 3 kids are fighting in the yard. Tom says to me, you've got terrible children. So I didn't like him from the get-go. Then, when I get to the newspaper to try and fix the sports department because they never made their deadlines, Tom said, it's not our fault. And I would say, Tom, 47 pages went through on time, on schedule. The sports agate can't make it, and you're always like, well, it's not our fault. Then, to make matters worse, I used to play golf with him in Vegas. And Tom would sneak up and undo my latch on my bag. Move my cart. So Frank Vega, who was my dear friend, said, Tommy, Mike can't play golf very well. Why don't you teach him? And I heard Tom say, Frank, it's impossible. He is a terrible golfer. No matter what lessons I give him, he's not going to learn how to play golf. Well, Frank forced him to teach me. So we get up there and Tom's straightening out my swing. I played better without his instruction. So when all of you like him and think he's a nice guy, he treated me like shit.
Well, hey there, everybody. Hi. This is Mary. I'm Sam. The Dolsons. Tom, I think I'm probably the only guy that you ever kept on after he beaned your wife with a softball. You're probably the only guy you ever kept on after I ditched a shift to go to the World Series in New York. Although maybe Barry did that, I'm not sure. I'm probably the only guy who you ever welcomed back after I left that valuable agate clerk position. And I just have to say thank you for everything that you did for me every step of the way. Precious few people in your life are impact people, people that make things happen for you. And for me, you are one of those people. And that is very meaningful to me. And I want to make sure I said that. I'm not very good about saying it in front of a lot of people, but I wanted to get that on tape. You're also the only person, or I'm the only person you ever kept on after his wife put a full life-size picture of Peyton Manning in your office after Florida beat Tennessee. And for that, I turn it over to my friend Mary.
I love you, Tom. Jokes aside, Tom, thank you so much. If it weren't for you, Sam and I would have never come to Florida today and spent 3 very good years here and learned a lot and grown as journalists and as people. You made me feel like a part of the family from the moment I interviewed here. It was a pleasure knowing you and your family when we were here. Today, when your sports staff gathered, two of the people who aren't working in newspapers are journalism teachers. And I found that to be a beautiful thing, Sam being one of those journalism teachers, because you are a great teacher. And whether it's in life or in the newsroom, Tom, you're an excellent teacher. You see talent, you see gifts, you lift them up, and you nurture them. And you are continuing to teach us and amaze us in all that you do. God bless you.
We love you, man.
Okay, the real Squire story now.
It wasn't our fault.
But Mike was the best basketball player you ever played with.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I probably hold the record for the guy that Tom's hired more times than anybody else. I think he's hired me 3 times at different stages of my career. I started as a news assistant in the old Today building when Tom took over for Ken Amos. And I think the first time I worked for him, basically he had me move everything from one side of a desk to another side of a desk. That was my job for the night. But I left the paper at the news assistant job, and I took a job selling meat and seafood to restaurants in Cocoa Beach. And I hated it. It paid very well. They gave me a car. I was a young guy. Thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And my wife thought, you're not happy doing this. You don't like sales. You don't like doing what you're doing. What do you like to do? And she said, why don't you go back and just find out what's going on? So when they were down here in the new building at the time, I came down there and asked about a news assistant job and talked to Tom and Joe Reyes. Sure enough, he let me come back and try it again. And I didn't know. I mean, I was a meat and seafood guy. I had no idea what I was doing there. He let me work on do the agate page, and then, somebody was sick or something didn't show up one night. He said, okay, E, you're doing the Nation page tonight. Great, okay. So I laid out the page. It had no pictures on it. I came in the next day, and Tom said, E, come here for a minute. This is a nice job, but it would look better with lots of pictures on it. I said, I don't know how to put pictures on it. So, he didn't say, you're never doing it again. They trained me. They taught me how to do that. Finally, I was doing some prep writing and doing some other writing. I wanted to do something bigger. There was a hockey exhibition game in Orlando. He sent me over there, come back, did the story. There's no quotes in this story. So, through all these stages and all these, the learning process, he had the patience. He let me do these things. He let me learn. He let me, and built a career. I spent 10 years at USA Today, 4 years as a PR director. Now I've just written my first book, and all of that came from just a guy that said, hey, if you want to try this, try this. And I didn't know what I was doing, and I worked and worked and worked, and he gave me that freedom. And then being in the newspaper business where so much is territorial and turf, and everybody protects their little area, everything felt wide open when I was in the newspaper. And I give Tom a lot of credit for helping me find myself or finding a path. And I love the kids.
Anybody else before we invite Tom up?
Yeah.
I hate to admit this, but I'm the old man of the crew here. I'm the old man of the staff. I've probably seen more sports editors than anybody else around on this staff, and I can't name half of them. There's only one that's at the top of my list. That's Tom.
Tom, I first met you at the old building in Florida Today. You were one of the first people that came and introduced yourself to me, and I thought you were a real cool guy. And over the years, you sort of became a mentor to me. I don't know how I gravitated to you, but as I became a manager, I always felt that I could confide in you, and you helped me a lot as I struggled becoming a manager. And I don't know if you remember a really low point in my life, but I was really stressed out, and so during a certain administration, and I went out in the parking lot, and you and I walked around for circles for about an hour because I could not hold still because of stress, and I think I ran you ragged walking around that parking lot, and I really felt like you were somebody that I could really count on and depend on, and you really took care of me, and I wish you were still there. Best of luck to you, and take care.
Trouble now. Well, everybody's talking about how Tom taught everybody how to play golf. Well, Tom could never teach me how to play golf. I'm a horrible golfer. So what I did was I said, Tom, we have some young ladies in advertising. We want to learn how to play golf. So every Tuesday and Wednesday, Tom had 5 to 8 women playing golf. So we called it Tom's Harem. So not only the sports department was he well liked, but he was also the great for the advertising. I think you're the only sports editor ever on travel centers with advertising. With the Vegas, right? World Series, as a guest of advertising. So I'm gonna miss you, buddy. Okay? We don't take no trips no more. Tight budget.
Now? All right. Hey, Tommy. I thank you for taking a chance on a young, know-it-all, 20-something-year-old who learned a lot from you, but more than journalism, how to grow up and how to continue growing up. And I've always looked back on my time with you, and I've appreciated what you've done for me. You kept me in the business. And just say that you're the man, and I appreciate everything you did for me, and I appreciate everything you've done for all of us.
I had a chance to work with Tom. Started for him as an aggie clerk, and left in the sports editor for him. And a lot of people come and gone, a lot of people have moved on. But the one person, as everybody said earlier, that people would come back. Special, this one big occasion would be for Tom Squires. He let you do your job, he let you make mistakes, he let you shine, and he let you bask in the spotlight, which a lot of people remember the most. There's several people at USA Today now who couldn't get down here. Gary Graves, Cesar Bioso, Rich Kendo, you saw earlier this week, Matt Mogelson, Lisa Kiplinger, Liza Kuhn, who was here for a few months on loan from USA Today. They all say thanks to Tom. We wish they could have been here. They know that in your heart, you remember. So I just want to say thanks.
Anybody else before we invite Tom?
Tom, you're up, Tom.
Come on, Tommy.
Tom, I just wanted to tell you that every time I have to do something as a boss, I think of the way you would have done it, and I usually do it that way. I learned a lot from you, and I really appreciate everything you've done for me, Alice, and my family. I wish you and Brenda the best. Thanks.
Don't get emotional on Caesar.
He's got his sunglasses in case you
Oh, man. This is,
Louder, please, louder.
this is how it is. I can't believe so many people came out to see Frank Vega today. I have to write down my stuff. Okay? You bear with me. I need glasses and dark glasses here, I'm afraid. I mean, this has been unbelievable. For me, I can't believe all this went on. As a matter of fact, this morning when we started to go to the golf tournament down at Turtle Creek, and I was at the beach house with Frank and
It was nice waking you up for a change.
Yeah, Mike and Mr. Moon, and all these guys are at the beach house, and Frank says, Tom, which way should we go down to the Cocoa area, and cut across, or go to Palmina? I said, gosh, Frank, doesn't matter. Just he says, okay, let's just follow Tom. And that's the first time in 10 months anybody said follow Tom. It felt real good, and I got you to it. Let's see here. Really, you've heard a lot about Tom Squires, and this is really not about Tom Squires. It's about the people here. This is a lot of people call this a reunion, and that's exactly what it is, and that's exactly what it needs to stay. And this is an unbelievable day for me, Brenda, but all of you guys. I mean, this is what everything's all about. It's people and relationships. If I'm not back next year, can't get down here for some reason, this needs to happen again. Okay? Now, I have 35 years or something around that neighborhood in the Gannett Company. I'm a true inventory. I qualify for that now. And, I spent 17 years at the Tennessean, and then I spent a year or two at USA Today, and then I spent 12 years here at Brevard County, and now I'm back at the Tennessean, back at Gannett in Nashville. But I think Pete said, that the 12 years here meant more. He's not lying. I was born and raised in Nashville, and was fortunate enough to make a lot of friends there. Still have a lot of friends there. But I always felt bad about the people in Nashville not getting to know what went on here for 12 years that I was here. And still goes on today. But that was the highlight of my life. I mean, and I covered baseball and Super Bowls and all that stuff, but being able to get the opportunity to manage you guys and work with you and work for you and work underneath you, it's just the best 12 years of my career, no question about it. I'm grateful for those people that really helped me do that. I hope I can thank a few of you. And I'm sorry for taking a lot of time here, but I want to tell you about, Bill Sargent, Barbara Kaywood are special people, okay? I love them to death. They've worked hard to put this thing together. I don't know why, but they did a lot of that. I can never refrain from what they've done, how hard they've worked to set this up. Again, I don't know why they did this, but it's been a lot of fun, I can tell you that, and I sure enjoyed it. It's made a great week for me. And Brenda. And Brenda. She's crying. And so that's two people, and particularly I think since we have some executives here with a lot of clout. Barbara Kaywood is a senior citizen now. Let me tell you something. Somebody at this paper, and I'd do a campaign for it if it was in Nashville, somebody needs to honor this lady because She broke the barrier in Kansas. She broke the barrier in Florida. Women's sports writer. She covered games from stadium seats because she couldn't get in a press box. She's been here the whole time. She's a terrific writer. She is the prep guru of Florida. I mean, there's no question about that. And if you guys could do me a favor, a personal favor, the next APSE, I mean, you know, you see all these great journalists getting these awards every year, and they certainly deserve it, but I don't want you to overlook this lady, okay? So do me a personal favor, go to APSE, tell them this lady needs to be nominated or part of it, because she's enough about Sarge. He's been a personal friend of mine since I got here. He really helped me get started. It was nice to have an old guy like him and me together. And that was, you know, he really was a big help to me to get this thing going and get going in the right direction. And I couldn't really have done it for him. And here he is still doing the same thing, helping me out. And so that's important. Of course, there's so many of them here that work for Florida and are still working there. I don't want to forget, I always have to mention Billy Russell's name. He just likes to hear it for an interim. Make sure he's there.
He's there. He's over there.
And so, all of these employees, I don't know whether they told you everything. I mean, about how guys went on. We were fortunate enough to send 6 people to USA Today. 5 of them are still there. That was tremendous. We've had guys come in here today from California. Very, very special friend of mine, Mike Young, California. He's been a dear friend of me. We struck it off. Here's a news guy and an advertising guy, you know, really getting along good together. And he's a long-time buddy, and he remained that way since day one. But he came from California. We got Woj from Detroit. And I think Mr. Bill Dunn is on my list. Mr. Bill Dunn from Nebraska was our first art director. He too, and he and I both, there was a, and this is no lie, again, I don't want to go on it if you need to go, I understand it. But the first night, at El Coco, the circulation department had a house behind the building, and so they said it was a little 2-story, you know, and said, well, the circulation guys use this for, you know, maybe some guests or something come over. So you guys have got that house tonight. So we said, okay, right across the street, we, you know, right in back. So Mr. Dunn and I got there. It had no door on it. They put us in separate rooms upstairs, and we both felt the roaches coming across the bed. And we went down, and there's raccoons eating in the kitchen, some cat food, and so we said, that's it, you know, we're in the wrong place. And so if he hadn't gone with me, then I probably just said, keep going, pal, but he would have to be with me, and so we made that work and got in a motel. Not much better, but it was a good hotel, and so pulled us out of there. So he came all the way from Nebraska, and I'm sorry I just got, you know, I'm so many of these guys. You've heard a bunch of these guys, and I'm proud of every one of these guys that have gone on. But, you know, there's 2 here from Dallas Morning News that worked here. I mean, 2 good friends and talented guys. Barry Pagoda, of course, here, and Evan Grant. I mean, these are guys that are contributing at big-time newspapers. And Louisville, of course, my favorite editor. I hope it's just one editor here. Yeah. Benny Ivory was always here. You know, Benny's my favorite because he's the only one offered me the ME job. I said offer and I didn't get it. Anyway, he is one of my all-time favorites. And Ed Manasseh, who was the editor here, is now his publisher in Louisville. And just so happens when I get back, Mr. Manasseh is inviting me to play Valhalla, which is one of the top courses in America today. I'm going to get to play golf up there in Louisville. And 63 years. Yes. Loopy Knoll, Palm Beach is up here. Okay, I'm getting there. You hold on now. Let's see. You know, when I was there, I had friends in every department. I think if you look through here, you'll see them. And I always felt that maybe I could be, you know, the spoke that keeps the wheel going, you know, kind of like that. And there's no doubt that I was a, you know, I don't know whether I was a manager or not. But I did like people, and I did like to help people, and I just gave them opportunities. I really didn't do anything special. I was fortunate enough to recruit some talent, a lot of talent, but also through loyalty in there and character. I didn't hire any buttholes or anything like that.
About Coble. About Coble. You hired Coble.
I love Don Coble. I love Don Coble.
I got a Don Coble story. Coble sent a contribution for the gift, and he said, "You be sure to tell Squires, this is how much I pledged on my expense account last week, so now I can..."
That's how we were able to get so his conscience is clear now.
And I can tell you something else too. I was also lucky to work under some managers. A couple editors, you know, let's show.
Thank God they're not here, Tom.
You better believe it. But the publishers who I worked for here, I mean, they were unbelievable for me. I mean, they were personal friends, and I couldn't thank them enough. And they were the backbones of this paper, and you got to have the guy at the top's got to know what he's doing. And Mike Coleman and Frank White obviously did all that. And so
Coleman's gone. He's up through.
Speaking of publishers, Mia, I've got another close friend of mine who's a publisher from Jackson, and used to be here, Bill Huntsberger, and another close friend of mine, Mr. Craig Moon, was another great publisher of mine. Fortunate to work under him at Tennessee when I went back, and you know, I was at USA Today for a while. Finally, I've turned it over to Mr. Moon. And Dave DuBois, I know he's there somewhere, but I got to recognize Dave. He's my main man. He's really helped in a lot of this too. He's been a good friend of mine. You know, I'm about down to it here a little bit. I want you to recognize one other guy that came with me today is my nephew, Tucker Petrie. Where's Tucker? And that's my nephew, and Tucker is a NFL sales rep for Reebok, who has the 10-year contract with the NFL. He's got 17 teams he checks on, and he was equipment manager at Jacksonville, so some of you people know him. But I love him, and he's my favorite nephew. And
It's your only nephew.
He is not my only nephew. But you are my favorite. No. Mike Buick, of course, you heard that bull crap he was putting out up here. But I've known him so long, he made up every bit of that crap, I promise you. He's a terrible golfer. He always has been a terrible golfer. I could not help him because it's not his swing, It's okay. Okay. Now, I got to get out of here. Pete Karasotis, I just need to, if I haven't already said this while I was up here, I'm not sure what I say sometimes, but two other guys, Pete Karasotis has been terrific. I think he was the brainchild of this thing, and guys helped me in so many ways, and I think we've helped each other. We both have strong Christian faith, and that's been a big plus. And obviously, you know, some people don't like to testify to that sometimes, but all of you I know are good Christians and believe in the Lord, and that's another very important thing to me and Pete and all of you guys. And the Lord loves every one of you. Okay, I got Tucker, Frank Vega. Okay, let's get serious. Frank is a brother to me. He's been like that. He's helped me along the whole way. I never considered him to be a boss, and I never paid any attention to him when he told me to do stuff. But he is, I can't describe it. He's just been a brother to me. He's as close as any brother I've got, probably closer. And, you know, just I can't say enough about Frank and what he's done. As you know, I stayed here 12 years, so he didn't help me in go up the ladder any. You kept resisting. But he gave me a pay raise every now and then when I was about to go bankrupt. But I love Frank Baker. I tell you, he's the greatest guy you have.
And I love you, Tom.
You know that there's only one. You know, I'm going to say one more word about the Lord, and that is, you know, He gives you the faith, gift of faith, and that's what I'm looking at today, and that's what I'm depending on. And I had a couple of rough weeks for a while, and one day at church I decided, what am I doing, sitting here worried about anything that might happen to me? And you know, and then in church one night it clicked and said, you know, I've had faith in the Lord for a long, long time. I can't even remember when I didn't. And so, what am I doing here, going through all this when I can pass it along to the Lord? And that's exactly what I did. And I haven't had a sleepless night or worried about anything in the last 8 months. I'll tell you that. So, I'm just telling you that if you have a problem, go to Him, baby, because that's the answer. Now, one more person. This is when it gets tough. She's my strength. I couldn't make it without her. I'd like to go on, but I can't. So, I just love you very much. Thank you all very much.
Thought you were going to get the last word as usual, but you're not getting the last word this time. You always got it when I worked for you. So now I figured since I'm the guy with the camera and I'm the guy editing the tape, I'm going to take the last word. Anyway, what a great time we had, Tom, Brenda. That was fantastic. I hope we can do it again. I've always told you how much you mean to me, both of you. I don't have to repeat it. I know you guys know. The great situation Sherry and I have right now, a lot of the credit belongs to you. Sherry wishes she could have been down there, but next time she will come along. We love you. I hope you get a little bit of enjoyment out of watching this tape. I'll get it out to you as soon as I can, and just want you guys both to take care, keep in touch, and we'll see you soon.